Welcome to Flight Pass. My name is Simon. We are here at the Battle of Quatre Bras on the 16th of June 1815. We've got to around about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Ney is here looking north, and he has just received a message to say that his reinforcements in the form of the corps of de Erlon, which was supposed to be coming up behind him along this road, has instead headed off towards the battlefield of Ligny over to the east in the distance there. He's livid. He's absolutely livid because he's just got to a point where that he needs these reinforcements, and at this point the numbers game has swung for the first time into Wellington's favour here. Essentially, they've now have received reinforcements from Alton's division that's come down here from Nivelle's, and they have essentially turned the tide of the battle. So Ney now needs, well, he hasn't got much that he can do. He realizes that essentially he's got to do win this battle with what he's got, but he makes the fatal error strategically. Is he sends a message to de Erlon, who's literally just got to the who's going to arrive at the edge of the Battle of Ligny. He orders him to return back this way, which meant that de Erlon would not play any part at all in the fighting in either battle. So Ney, having made sure that no battlefield will have a significant victory, now uses what he has got in an attempt to force these strategically important crossroads here. And he sends Jamin and Gautier basically either side of this road up this way. And he has the support of Pire's cavalry. And what he essentially sends up this road at this time is around about 4,700 infantry. Now, facing this infantry, and just to the north here of the farmhouse of Jeminko, is the 2.5 kind of battalions of Brunswickers, and they've been sent probably to this ridge here by Wellington, and but they are suffering from battery fire from that field across the Jemincourt Brook, which is those line of trees just there. They are also suffering from some fire from the Bossel Wood as well. And what this essentially means is that these Brunswickers are fall back. And the artillery that was with them in support of them was also pulled back at the same time. The Duke of Brunswick himself puts himself at the head of his Uhlans, and a squadron of them, and he tries to force the French to break off their attack. And he forces one of the Jerome's infantry regiments into square, but the cavalry are essentially forced back from that square. The Duke of Brunswick then travels to his other crisis point, which was the Life Battalion. Now remember, I think they're somewhere in this region here. They're coming under pressure from Pires cavalry, and he gets himself basically in front of these troops, and they come under fire, and it knocks his horse down. And he gets, I believe, shot as well at the same time, or just afterwards. And he gets mortally wounded at this point. I believe it's somewhere in this region here. He's carried off the battlefield back towards the Namur highway, which is this road here. And essentially he is killed. But remember, Alton's divisions were moving up, and this has bought time for Alton's to get divisions to get into position. And they managed to clear Pyrmont. Which is this place here. And what that essentially does now, it puts pressure on Ney's right-hand side. And remember, Hackett's men was ordered into the central position. We're presuming around about here. And this was achieved around about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. We then get to the time when Ney's infantry makes another attack. And he's using here, Ney, by the way, he's using his last reserves of his of Rail's corps, and along with Kellerman's squadrons of cavalry. And so it becomes a little bit more desperate as the the afternoon passes into the evening. So Bachelu is instructed to try to retake this right-hand flank of Pyrmont. And Kellerman's cuirasses and the guard cavalry, which is basically Ney's reserve, ride up the slope towards the Allied centre. So essentially possibly coming straight up the road here. And we get the cuirasses attacking Hackett's in this area. This is where the 69th is basically ridden down, and the 69th will lose its a colour at this point. The 30th third would scatter, and the 30th and the 73rd would hold. So it appears at this point very much this battle has very much some similarities at this point to Waterloo. You have this slight reverse slope here, and you have British infantry forming squares, being attacked by cuirassiers. And eventually there's the cuirassiers are forced back, and the French cavalry assault is finished around about 6:30 in the evening. 6:30, 6:45. So essentially that is Ney's bolt has been shot, as it were, because now what we get is more reinforcements arriving. Maitland's 1st Brigade of Guards begin to arrive, which was about 2,000 men strong, and they are joined by 2 horse batteries, and the guards move into the wood on the right-hand side here, the Bossu wood, and start pushing the French out of this wood. Eventually they're stopped somewhere, probably here, by the artillery of Ney opening up on them. So the wood then essentially becomes back into Allies' hands. And this ridge above the Gemincourt brook here is essentially retaken. There were still threats from Pirot's cavalry. They were doing these sort of rolling attacks, so they were still forcing the Allies to be into a square in this area. At 7 o'clock, the last 2 battalions of the Brunswickers arrive, along with some more artillery, and they are placed behind in reserve. And which I think is so they're coming down the road from Brussels. And then we get more troops arriving. There's a regiment of Nassau, 2,800 men, and they arrive and start joining on the right-hand side here. Now, so you're getting to the point now where the troops in this area would get to about 30,000 men. And Wellington decides to stage a general attack. He has 2 brigades of guards drew up to attack Jerome on this side. And Alten pushed down the Charleroi road towards Chemincourt here. And Picton is forcing back Waterloo on this side here. And the Prince of Orange is trying to still clear this wood on the right hand side. And what you basically get then at the end of the day is that the original positions that the Allies held, which was essentially this wood, the farm here, around across to Chemincourt, and then across to here to Pyramont, is retaken by the end of the day. And that is essentially the end of the Battle of Quatre Bras. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Currently been talking about this battle for going on 3 hours, but I will break it up if you put it onto YouTube in sort of 20-minute chunks. Scores on the doors on the end of the day. The Allies' losses on the day approximately is believed to be about 5,000 men, and the French are believed to have lost just over 4,000. So relatively speaking, the battlefield is compared to Ligny not as not as many. Now I am just to the north here of everything. So we have what happens later. Well, let's just finish this day. Uxbridge's cavalry start arriving in the evening, and it basically means that Wellington, if he wanted to, it could essentially go on to the offensive the next day. But that would obviously depend. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out where I am. That would depend on whether Blucher has held back the attack of Napoleon in over at Sombref. This seems like a good place to wrap up this stream. We are got to the end of the 16th of June 1815. Napoleon has essentially won his battle at Ligny, but it's not a decisive victory. It's just a punch in the face to the Prussians, probably. But it means that the Prussians are in the sort of position to rally, let's put it that way. Wellington, by some luck and some judgment, has managed to not only deny Ney Quatre Bras, but he's also now in a position where he has the numerical advantage over Ney's troops, and essentially has probably a better strategic position than Ney, to be told. So it all depends now on what, for Wellington, it depends now on what is happening over at Sombref on his to the east. if Blucher is in a position to wage another battle, it could mean that Wellington can now pin Ney down and do what he told Blucher he would do, which would come to his defense. But he needs to find out what's happened. Now, we will start the story again from the 17th of June 1850, and one thing we do know, and I'll leave you with this, is that the messenger that initially is sent by Blucher or by Gneisenau to Wellington to say that they had been defeated at Ligny and were pulling back, the initial messenger is captured by a French patrol. So Wellington on the morning of the 17th of June is not aware of what's happened at Ligny. And we'll take up that story in the next stream, which will probably be tomorrow. And thank you for watching. Like and subscribe and do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.